So you're looking to ace your next virtual interview. I just got a job where all three phases of the interview were on Zoom. I'm going to let you know what I did to help prepare myself and make sure that my employer left the meeting impressed. Before we get started, I'm going to give you one miscellaneous tip. Make sure that you're ready for the interview 20 minutes ahead of time and that you're in the interview 10 minutes ahead of time. This will give you a chance to make sure the link works, which we'll get into later. And also, if your interviewer decides to show up early, you can be ready for them. Number one, declutter your background. This is everything to do with how you're perceived. Your space says a lot about you. If I leave my room unorganized or my background's unorganized, how is the employer supposed to trust me to handle their tasks when I can't even handle my own? Number two tip, which I touched on earlier, is verify the link. You want to make sure you don't have the incorrect link as the meeting's about to begin. Before I booked this most recent job, this actually happened in another interview where I was sent a Zoom link and I was in the wrong link, and it doesn't matter whether it was the fault of me or if it was the fault of them sending me the wrong link. It reflects badly on me that I was sitting in there 15 minutes and wasn't able to reach my interviewer. We had to call over the phone instead, and the interview started 20 minutes late, which ultimately may have led me to not getting the position. Number three tip, test your Wi-Fi. Similar to the last point, you don't want to drop out of the interview halfway through. There are a couple apps you could download to test the speed of your internet. You could also try getting on a FaceTime call with a friend or getting on a Zoom link with a friend and seeing how you fare. And if you're having any trouble with your Wi-Fi and it's shot, you can always try going to a public library. Most public libraries have free meeting rooms you can reserve that are guaranteed to be clean and tidy. This is more of a personal one for me, but it helps me ahead of time to have things written out that I want to say on a sheet of paper, especially a sticky note, which I can stick to my monitor and read real time. Now, what you don't want to do while in the interview is read line by line everything that you have written on your sticky note, because that will be obvious, but just give it a glance every once in a while to help remind yourself of some of the things you wanted to mention. Not only does writing things out on paper help retain it in your memory, but it'll prevent you from having to write notes out on your phone and fiddling with that during the interview, which will look way worse. Number five is dress professionally. Like decluttering, you need to show that you care. If you appear unkempt, that's how they'll perceive you. Number six, tell me about yourself question. It is inevitable, regardless of the salary or the industry you're applying for, that your interviewer will ask you to tell them about yourself. Now, it's easy to get stun locked on this question, but I have a couple things that might help out. First, summarize your work history and go into detail on one specific project. Of course, make sure that the project is related to the current job you're applying for. Number two is to highlight tasks and talk about how you took action, which is similar to the last point, and then explain the results of your work. I'm going to give you an example of something you could say. So, tell me about yourself. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to be interviewed. My name is Zach, and I would consider myself a go-getter and a team player. I come from a background working in said field, and that led me to find current field. In this field, I'm often working projects or completing tasks about A, B, and C thing. I managed to provide said results. Final point, number six, do you have any questions? Now, sometimes at the end of your interview, your interviewer will ask you if you have any questions, or at the end, if there's anything else you need to go over, make sure to raise some questions. This helps show interest, but you might also legitimately have questions about the position. I'm going to give you two questions you could ask. You could ask, how could I exceed your expectations in this role? Second question you could ask, what are the top 3 things you'd like to see me accomplish in my first 90 days? That's all I got for y'all for today. I wish you best of luck on your interviews. Let me know how it goes down below. You can subscribe over here and check out another video over here.